The challenge with so many people is that Satan arrives at the place of test before them. I remember when we got married, me and my wife. The family of my wife did not know that I was a pastor yet. And we deliberately did not inform them at that time. Yes, I was a senior staff in government where I was working. And that was the identity that I had. But we had already started ministry before I got married, so many of our church people were around, and the way they were honoring me, the people put one or two things together and concluded that I was a pastor. The moment the insight about my being a pastor broke out, section of the family refused the part of my bride price items that should have gone to them. They refused. And we are intelligent enough in the spirit to know that that is going to be an object of warfare in the days to come. I thought they would even give us like 1 year. It was exactly 14 days after the wedding that they released a coffin to take my wife. Let me give you the details, just in case you say, this pastor, hi, he's talking about spiritual things. We went for the conference that culminated in my ordination as a reverend. So the ordination was supposed to be on Saturday. We came for the conference on Friday in the ministry of my father-in-law and invited a prophet. And this prophet came to the pulpit and said, there are 38 coffins here. The moment he finished saying it, the first person that was implicated by the unction that brought that revelation was my wife. Say coffin. All right. So, in fact, because of that deliverance, we went and sowed a seed. I sowed an independent seed. She sowed. I think she emptied her own account. Apart from that which she sowed, there was nothing left. Then we now came. The next day was my ordination. So I woke up early, hopped into the bathroom, and I was taking my bath. That when I was in the bathroom, that's when the coffin came. And when the coffin arrived, my wife was lying down, and my wife sat up, and there was a part of her that was lying down. I don't understand that. And then that part that sat up stepped out, and there was still part of her that was on the bed, and the one that stepped out began to, there was a force field coming from the coffin that was sucking her in. So all of that was going on. She was almost making contact with the coffin when I was done with taking my bath, and then I came out of the bathroom, and then the thing now did reverse. So when it did reverse and she entered back into her body, she now shut. What? So she now told me what happened. So even though the power of God had come, the schedule for the coffin was still in place. Are you there? So the idea was that 14 days after my wedding, I should have been mourning. I should have been mourning. Meanwhile, I found out in my research that that kind of attack can either take place on the 7th day, on the 14th day, or on the 21st day. And if it doesn't work, this 7, 14, 21, the arrow will go back. So let's leave that, the details of that. So that was how I came for ordination, confused. Because I was expecting that because of what the prophet declared and the evidence of the anointing that came, we were supposed to be separated from the attack. The attack was not The thing about the covering that anointing released was that the attack was still there, but what Satan intended for the attack was no longer in view. Sometimes when we say pray, it is not as if some things may not come, but the outcome, the expectation that Satan had in mind will no longer be in view. That was how we were ordained as reverends. And because of that attack, we did not go for honeymoon. Because I was praying and begging God to release grace upon me during the ordination after our wedding. So we didn't go for honeymoon. Then on the day of my ordination, there was an attack. So honeymoon was cancelled totally. And this is how many years now? We are still planning it. I noticed that after that attack, if we are sitting in church like this, it happened 6 times. Everyone can breathe in oxygen and breathe out carbon dioxide. I'll just notice that my wife is choking. The problem with many of us is that Satan arrived at the testing place before us. Thank God my ordination was in view, so I was fasting and praying for the ordination. I didn't know that the reason for which I was moved to fast was not the ordination, was because of. So I arrived at the testing ground before Satan came. More and more, Satan becomes irrelevant in your space because you begin to find that the resources God made available to drive your life, they are in adequate supply in the grace of God.